Welcome to Ridge Life. I'm Tim, and today on the Ridge, we are once again working on our solar project. That's right, 100% off-grid here in West Tennessee. Now, we've got our solar power shed, we got the equipment mounted, conduit run. Now, we got to start getting connections to this giant 48-panel solar array. And to do it, I'm going to get my Workmaster 55 New Holland tractor to work, Old Blue. Can she do it? Let's find out. Inside our power shed here, this is where we got our three EG4 6000 XP inverters and 2 racks of EG4 LLS batteries, 6 in each one. Now, the solar or PV input is coming from those 48 HowTos bifacial solar panels. They're 500 watt, 400 watt nominal top gain. And they're on a Chico USA 4-car carport. Now we've got to get power from those into here. And we've got this giant trough right here. So coming through, I'm going to go through the wall right there, come up right below our GFCI receptacle and our rapid shutdown e-stop. And I'm going to come right through here, all the way back, dig a giant trench right up to the edge of the driveway. Then we're going to go down in front of the carport. And we've got to have a connection to each of these columns on the carport, because we'll have an 8-panel array, an 8-panel array, 8, 8, 8, and 8. So 2 8, so 16, two strings going down each column. And then we'll have to have conduit, a single, like probably a 1-inch, coming down to say a 2-inch. And then we'll go over to the power shed. That is the plan. So to do that, I've got to dig trenches. And this is where it's going to get fun, guys. First, we have to get our F-250 out of the way, our Kubota RTV X1140, and our SRT Durango out of the way. Don't want to damage them. But we'll get Old Blue here, my Workmaster 55. She's a pretty old beast. Does her job well. And now we've got this new 935 GBH backhoe. I've only really just tested it one time, but I'm pretty sure it's up for the task. Let's get her fired up and warming up, get the other vehicles out of the way, and get to work. All right, we got all the vehicles out of the way. The tractor is warming up. I will have to get rid of some things here before we can actually start digging. I got to move those pavers because the trenches are going to go right through there. I got to get rid of this extension cord that temporarily powers my string lights under the solar array. Then, of course, we got all these temporary PV cables, solar cables. I am using 15, 20 of these 48 right now going to solar generator banks to power, the solar shed and the ridge crib, my camper over there. So I've got it under the gravel right there temporarily. So I'll have to remove the extension cord, and then I'll start digging a trench. Then I'll have to start lifting those up, kind of hang them, and then I'll be able to dig the trench out. I'm pretty sure, again, I'm just going to come straight out here and then curve and go down this line there. I don't want to waste my gravel, so I'm probably going to use the bucket of the tractor first to scrape the gravel, expose the dirt, and then I'll be able to start digging and putting the dirt over dirt, hopefully not on gravel. That way I can save as much as this. This gravel, guys, this gravel is expensive. I'm telling you, I got, oh my gosh, how many, 120 tons? I don't remember. I remember, I used to be a joke here on RidgeLife, how many tons of gravel. There was 13 loads just in the driveway, and then I probably had another 8 or 10 loads up here in the parking area. Lots and lots of gravel. All right, well, I think Old Blue's warmed up. Let's start scraping some gravel. caught my cables here. Got it. Ooh, nicked that one a little bit. Didn't get into the metal though. These are just temporary though. I'm not using these permanent. Whew. That was a close one. Close one. All right, get back under here. There we are. Whew, man. righty, let's see how this looks. Okay, I like it. So I've got down to the mud right there, and I got an area right here to drop my dirt, and the ditch is going to go right down there. Let's see how we are at this column. Same thing, we're down to the mud. I got a nice area to put the part I pick up and drop. That way I don't waste all that gravel. Same thing over here. Yep. Now, looks like I'm gonna have to push this gravel here that way a little bit, because I'm gonna dig my trench right there, and I don't want to have my back tires going up over those mounds. I can push that way just a little bit, but over here, look at this guy. All the way to the mud right here. Mud all the way under the rapid shutdown switch, and I got a nice big area off to the side to drop all of the dirt. So we got our cables up out of the way. Ooh, that was close. I almost damaged that one cable. Again, these are temporary cables, but they are working right now. So what I'm gonna do is now drop these cables, and then back the tractor up to the shed there, and just start digging away at it. Ooh, this is exciting stuff, guys. One step closer to off-grid solar power, and then building the off-grid barn house. Yeah! That is about 20 inches right there. I only got to go 18 inches. I'm going to go closer to 24 because I'm probably going to have some cave in, you know, time between I dig it and I fill it back up. So, yeah, I need to go a little bit lower. HowTos. All right, this is my first time digging trenches with the old 935 GBH backhoe. I'm learning as I go. I'm about 3 feet right there. Let's move over here. Definitely, I'm perfectly 2 feet right there, all the way back. And then I'm about 3 feet right there. But I got stuff I can backfill with. I'll get down there and I'll step in it and I'll harden it out, smoothen it out, everything. I think I'm going to continue to go on, curve back around and do the straight line, and then I'll come back and dig the 3 trenches. I think that's going to work best for me. I'm probably going to do the rest of this, at least that straight line, in time lapse. Give you a little music, because this is taking a while, but it's fun stuff. So if I do it in time lapse, it'll be quicker for you. It'll be a little more fun for me. So let's do this. went to back up, and when I did, I noticed this pool of hydraulics. Yeah, hydraulic fluid leaking out. Where is it leaking out from? Well, looky here, sprayed all on the chassis there. And what I found out was, I don't know if you can see, this nut right here on this hose is super loose. This one right here, look at that. So it's spraying out right there. But luckily, see this hose right here? This hose is actually rubbing against this bracket right here. And I gotta lower that down. So I'm gonna loosen this nut up here, slide that hose down, because it almost wore a hole through it right there. That would have not been good. So I'll lower that, tighten this, and we should be able to get back to work. All right, I think I got it. You can see this hose now is definitely lower than that. I got that one tightened up. Everything should be good to go. Let's cross our fingers. No more leaks. I don't think I lost enough to have to fill the reservoir up anymore. It wasn't that much. You know, there is a little bit extra capacity, but I will definitely be checking it and filling it up before next use. No more leaks. I didn't see any dripping on the ground as I went. We can see the ditch is definitely more than more than 18 inches deep all the way down. Now, I do have this huge pile of dirt right there, and kind of makes it hard to get these trenches right there. Of course, if I'd have done those first, I would have had piles, you know, on either side. I think it's going to be easy. All I got to do is use the front bucket on the tractor. I'll scoop that out of the way and put it in the middle there. And then I'll scoop that center section there and put it off to the side. And then I'll scoop that section and put it off to the side. And then just drive right back up and dig them up. So I think that's what'll happen. We'll find out. On the end here, I just pushed that one over like I said. But in the center here, I just went ahead and flattened that out. I didn't really want to risk pushing it in the trench, so I just flattened it out a little bit. I'll be able to drive back over that no problem. Kind of did the same thing over here in the corner. I'm going to back in diagonal, and I really just got to cut a trench this way. It doesn't have to be straight that way because my connector, it would be at an angle. So the straight conduit goes this way. I'll have a T right here, and then it kind of bends around and goes straight that way. Check this out, guys. It is already filling full of water. This clay holds water like crazy, and blue skies, it has not rained. I mean, it was, you know, the tornado warnings we had the other day was the last rain we had, but we got a high water table, that's for sure. Let me back the tractor up to each of these locations, start getting those little bitty trenches out. We'll do that again in time lapse and be right back. Alrighty, we are all done. Let's jump down in this hole here. We can see what it looks like. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, definitely more than 18 inches. Definitely more than 18 inches. Now, I know I'm gonna have to chop away, I'll shovel a little bit away from the column so the conduit comes up properly right there. I just didn't want to get too close to this concrete, you know, with the bucket and break the corner of the footer there. But yeah, we come across, come down. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That looks so cool. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Let's see. Now, I definitely need to get a little closer to that one. I didn't get quite close enough to that one, but again, I didn't want to mess the footer up. So come down through here. Look at there. Look at there. Cut across. I got really close on this one. Look at that. I got really close. So yeah, I'm super excited with that. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know Old Blue did her job well. Appreciate you, Old Blue. Let me see if I can get out of here real quick. Oh boy. Oh yes. Yes. That is a pile of dirt. Not a jar of dirt, as Johnny Depp would say in Pirates of the Caribbean, but a pile of dirt. Oh my goodness, guys. Well, next thing I gotta do is figure out exactly what conduit, how I'm gonna arrange the conduit there to going in the ditch. You know, am I gonna use T's? Am I gonna use elbows? Am I just gonna straight run it? I don't know. A lot to think about there. Definitely a lot to think about. Whew, goodness. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it. That was fun. That was really fun. Hydraulic leak taken care of. Not an issue there. So we'll be back and we'll figure out what we got to do with this conduit. Once we get this conduit laid down, I'll start running wires to everything. We'll get back inside the power shed, and then I'll call out for the rough inspection. And he'll come out, make sure I got everything lined out, you know, depth and all the trench inspection and all that. And then we'll terminate everything and final inspection. And we got power. That's right. Woo, hoo, 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 power. So, guys, I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. It's always 100% free. Hit that notification bell right down there to be notified anytime a new video comes out on one of our channels. So, guys, until next time, hope everyone has a blessed day. Stay with me and go Ridge Life. Woo!